Hello everyone and welcome to another unboxing video. This time it is the Thrustmaster SimTask Farmstick, which is a purpose-built joystick from Thrustmaster for farming simulator. And because of the Black Friday sales, I've been able to pick one of these up at a good price. So I'm hastily opening and we can reveal the rustic box within. The Thrustmaster SimTask Farmstick emerges. Here we go. Cursory look around the box like we normally do. Here we go. And you can also buy a wheel and pedal set as part of it if you wish to. We've just got the joystick. Let's crank it open and take a look at what's inside. Got the usual cable and pamphlet at the top, which we can move to one side and reveal the joystick underneath the cardboard, which is covered by what looks like a very bad Halloween ghost costume. But if we remove the veil, we can see within the Thrustmaster SimTask Farmstick in all of its glory. Looking very nice. A good colour contrast with the black joystick and the grey base. I like the gunmetal-y grey. And I got to say, I think the plastic is of a good quality. And we've got some nice orange buttons in there as well for contrast. USB cable as standard. And here's a closer look up of the joystick and the buttons on the base, which we'll see a bit more of as we get into it. Now, let's give it a feel. And yes, it has got a rather robust feel to it. All the buttons, it's a bit like a fidget spinner at the moment. They have a good depression, and it's nice to give them all a play. And yes, a good feel and feedback on the joystick itself. And on the back we have some triggers at our disposal. Right, this is it set up next to our Logitech steering wheel. A nice addition to the setup. It's looking quite glamorous there. Okay, so we have set up the Thrustmaster SimTask Farmstick using the USB 3 connection. And as you can see, we have the main joystick up the top, where we have a series of buttons, dials, and a thumb pad. And then down towards the bottom section, we have 6 buttons on the left-hand side in a cluster, 6 buttons on the right-hand side in a cluster, and then 2 sort of outer side buttons, 2 inner side buttons, and then 2 middle buttons, 1 for the start and also 1 for doing the various equipment and tool attachments, which is pretty good. Right, let's take a little look, because the top section up here is where we want to start. So the thumb pad is configured to twist the camera, and I should probably mention that a lot of the keys were supposed to be set as default, but I did have to do quite a bit of tinkering and adjusting. But the thumb pad does allow us to twist the camera up and down and side and back again, and the further we push, the faster the camera turns round. So that is quite nice for some control. We also have the orange dial here, which if rotated inwards zooms us in, and then if rotated downwards zooms us out. So that is pretty good. Now for the next part, I think I will jump into a vehicle so I can demonstrate. So let's go in this Manitow Telehandler. Now, the orange dial, again, allows us to zoom in and out. I'll probably just press the start button here, which I've configured to start the engine, just so I can get rid of that warning message. But yes, we can zoom in and out, but if I toggle one of the triggers on the rear, you'll see that this light has turned from white to orange, so we are now in a different mode. And rotating the orange dial upwards increases the cruise control speed, and rotating it downwards decreases the cruise control speed. And if I actually push in that orange dial, it will initiate and toggle on the cruise speed. So there we go, we've now come out of the shed, which is quite nice. Right, we'll go back into driving mode and we can test out some of the joystick here. So if we lift up, we can raise the arm. If we push down, we can lower the arm. Side to side, we have configured to adjust the front loader tool. And then twisting is what is going to open and close the tool that we have here. Obviously not every front loader tool opens and closes, but at least for this one you can do that. And the orange dials here, which can push up and push down, which is quite nice, we can use the left hand side one to extend the arm out. So this is very useful for a front loader tool. Right, I think what I might do is do a bit of practice and try and load up some bales that we have got on the flatbed over here, and I'll try and load one of them into our bale storage shed, which we have. Right, if we approach the flatbed like so, we can lift it up slightly, angle the front loader tool, open up the grab so that's not going to impede us, and we should be able to push the extension forward so we can lift up both bales. There we go. We can now drag that back in, and we have picked up both bales. Fantastic. Right, let's bring that right in, and we can then head over to the bale shed and get that dropped off. But a bit of a demonstration of how the joystick can be used with a telehandler, front loader, wheel loader. It is all the same, and of course you can use this for a wood harvester as well, which is interesting. So let's get these bales dropped off here on the ground. It should be as simple as slowing down, lowering this, tilting it appropriately, backing out. Oh, there we go. Make sure it's dropped, and there we go, we've dropped off our bales. Fantastic. So yeah, a really nice ability to control our telehandlers and armed equipment so we can load and unload things in a nice efficient manner. So that is pretty good. The joystick feels nice and smooth, and it's not too reactive. It's not jerking around all over the place. It's a nice smooth movement and allows you to gauge how quickly and how slowly you can move the arm around, which is really nice. Okay, so I've jumped into a different tractor here just to demonstrate a few of the equipment and tool functions that I have set up here. Now, before we do, I have used the middle button here to do the tool linkages. So before we do anything, if I lower this piece of equipment like so, I should be able to then click this to unattach it. Oh, bit rear heavy there, but not to worry. If I press it again, we can reattach the front mower. Fantastic. That is really good. And another thing is I have set these inner side buttons to toggle between the equipment. So front mower, tractor, rear mower, and then we can go back the other way, which is really handy. Right, cool. So now let's use some of the joystick buttons to control the equipment. Now, the top level I have set for the individual pieces of equipment. So this will do the unfold, the orange button on the top right. There we go, it has unfolded it. This middle one is going to lower it, but this one on the left is going to switch it on. So let's use that to switch it on, and then we can lower away if we were to mow this just using the front mower. Fantastic. But then we can raise it back up using that button, and then switch it off using the cogged button. So that is good. Right, let's get that folded back up, because I would like to show you that we can actually bind it so we can control both pieces of equipment at once. So this bottom right button should now unfold both mowers, and then this middle but bottom button, F2, will lower both of them. Front first, then the rear, and then this bottom left will switch it on, but it's going to tell me that I haven't got enough horsepower because, yeah, I'm not using the most optimal tractor for managing a mower such as this. But we could switch it on if we wanted to and had a more powerful tractor. But let's get these both raised up again. Front mower first, rear mower, and then we can fold these both up. Nice. So hopefully that is a good demonstration on how the Thrustmaster can control individual equipment and both sets of equipment on the front and back at the same time. Now it's exactly the same for any other farm equipment. We can link to a baler just by pressing the link button. And then if we were to unfold, we could use our unfold button for the individual tool. But we are just going to switch this on, and then we can lower it away by pressing that button, and that lowers the pickup. Pressing it again raises the pickup. We can switch it off, fold it back up if we needed to, and then detach it like so. So there we go. That is pretty handy. Now I'm thinking I can use some of these buttons on the left hand side and right hand side to control the various lights, beacons, hazard lights and so on. So I'm looking forward to setting those as we go. But just a handy tip on how to do some of the key binding. It's as simple as going into the settings and controls and then locating on this section which device you want to update the keybinds for, or even check what keybinds are set currently. So we've got the SimTask Farmstick right here, and my first step, and I would definitely suggest this, is to just go through all of the controls for the Farmstick and remove them. It's as easy as going to the control, clicking on it, pressing backspace for PC, and then it clears the key binding, and then to set it again you click on whichever action or binding you want to set. If you click on it, and then you can move the joystick to set it again. So there you go, I've just set it looking down and looking up back to the forward and backward direction on the joystick. Now another handy tip when you are setting key bindings, especially for things like your equipment, is sometimes it's hard to know what some of the functions are for, like tool function 1, tool function 2. The best thing to do is to scroll all the way over to the left and see which binding you recognize on either your keypad or your gamepad, so that we can see that turn tools on and off here is B, which I know is the start equipment button, but also B is set to tool function 1. So when I have set the bindings for the SimTask Farmstick, I have set tools on and off and tool function 1 as the same key binding. But that has been a unboxing, setup and brief demonstration of the Thrustmaster SimTask Farmstick. Look forward to using it more in the future for loading and potentially some forestry and wood harvesting work. I'm happy to go in more depth if you'd like me to. If you've enjoyed this, remember to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope to catch you in the next one. Cheers all. Bye bye.